Hey everybody, it's MotherGoose27 and welcome back to my channel. Listen, I failed you guys. You trusted me and I let you down. Even Azula's mad. For those of you who don't know, I stream a game that you guys choose. This time you guys chose Skyrim, and one way or another, I'm not even sure exactly how it happened. We came into the habit of me reading you guys Skyrim novels before the end of each stream, and I forgot last time, and I think I might have forgot the time before that, and I also have missed like 2 streams recently. So, to make it up for you, we're going to be reading some Skyrim novels right here, right now. Let's go. So, if I remember correctly, I owe you guys 4 books. So, for our first novel, we're reading Adria and Deidre. Also, I suck at reading, I apologize, but I'll do what I must. The destinations of gods, demons, Adria and Deidre are universally confusing to the layman. They are often used interchangeably. Adria and Deidre are not relative terms. They're elvish and exact. Azura is Deidre, both in Skyrim and Morrowind. Adria is usually translated as ancestor, which is as close as Caurodilic can come to this elven concept. Deidre means roughly, not our ancestors. This distinction was crucial to the Dunmer, whose fundamental split in ideology is represented in their mythical genealogy. Adria are associated with stasis. Deidre represent change. Azula represents chaos. Adria created the mortal world and are bound to the earth bones. Deidre, who cannot create, have the power to change. As part of the divine contract of creation, the Adria can be killed. Witness Lorcan and the Moons. The Protean Deidre, from whom the rules do not apply, can only be banished. Interesting. Okay. Did I understand that? No, I did not. Okay, we're going to read Arvel's journal. It might get personal, it might not. Let's find out. My fingers are trembling. The golden claw is finally in my hands, and with it, the power of the ancient Nordic heroes. That fool, Lucan Valerius, had no idea that his favorite store decoration was actually the key to the Bleak Falls Barrow. Now, I just need to get to the Hall of Stories and unlock the door. The legend says there's a test that the Nords put in place to keep the unworthy away, but that when you have the golden claw, the solution is in the palm of your hands. Huh. You know, that would have been really useful to read when I was actually doing that quest. This is A Brief History of the Empire, Part 3. I'm sorry I don't have Parts 1 and 2. I'm sure I'll find it eventually. The first volume of this series told, in brief, the story of the succession of the first 8 emperors of the Septim dynasty, from Tibur I to Kinthera II. The second volume describes the War of the Red Diamond and the 6 emperors that followed its aftermath, from Uriel III to Cassinder I. At the end of that volume, it was described how the Emperor Cassidir's half-brother Uriel IV assumed the throne of the Empire of Tamriel. It will also be recalled that Uriel IV was not a septim by birth. His mother, though she reigned as empress for many years, was a dark elf married to a true septim emperor, Pelagius III. Uriel's father was actually Catariah the First consort after, I think that's Pelagius. That might be a fancy D, though. Death. A Breton nobleman named Galavir, Lariat. Before taking the throne of empire, Cassidir I ruled the kingdom of Wayrest, but poor health had forced him to retire. Cassidir had no children, so he legally adopted his half-brother Uriel and abdicated the kingdom. 7 years later, Cassidir inherited the empire at the death of his mother. 3 years after that, Uriel once again found himself the recipient of Cassidir's inheritance. Uriel IV's reign was a long and difficult one. Despite being a legally adopted member of the Septim family, and despite the Lariat family's high position, Indeed, they were distant cousins of the Septims. Few of the Elder Council could be persuaded to accept him fully as a blood descendant of Tiber. The council had assumed much responsibility during Cadorius I's long reign, and Cassadia I's short one. The strong-willed alien, quote-unquote, monarch like Uriel IV found it impossible to command their unwavering fealty. Time and again, the council and the emperor were at odds, and time and again, the council won the battles. Since the days of Pelagius II, the Elder Council had consisted of the wealthiest men and women in the empire, and the power they wielded was conclusive. The council's last victory over Uriel IV was posthumous. I don't know. I don't care. Let's go. Andorak, Uriel IV's son, was disinherited by vote of the council, and a cousin more closely related to the original Septim line was proclaimed Sepphoris II in 3E 247. Frick, I know nothing about Skyrim lore. I'm so sorry. 3E. I don't know. What exactly does that mean? For the first 9 years of Sepphoris II's reign, those loyal to the Anadarch battled the imperial forces. In the act of the sage Iretine called Tiber Septim's heart beating no more. The council granted Anadarch the High Rock Kingdom in the short helm to the end of the war, and Anadarch's descendants still rule there. By and large, Sepphoris II had foes that demanded more of his attention than Anadarch. From out of the Cimmerian nightmare, in the worlds of Eretane, the man who called himself the Chamaran usurper led an army of Deidre and undead warriors on a rampage through Valenwood, conquering kingdom after kingdom. Few could resist his onslaughts, and as month turned to bloody month in the year 3E 249, even fewer tried. Sepphoris II sent more and more mercenaries into Hammerfall to stop the usurper's northward march, but they were bribed or slaughtered and raised as undead. Oof, that's rough. The story of Cameron usurpers deserves a book of its own. It is recommended that the reader find Palawax Ilithur's The Fall of the Usurper for more detail. Okay, I'll see if I have that one. In short, however, the destruction of the forces of the usurpers had little to do with the efforts of the emperor. The result was a great regional victory and an increase in hostility towards the seemingly inefficacious empire. Uriel V, Sepphoris II's son and his successor, swiveled opinion back toward the latent power of the empire, turning the attention to Tamriel away from internal strife. Uriel V embarked on a series of invasions, beginning almost from the moment he took the throne in 3E 268. Uriel V conquered Roscaria in 271, Cathan K in 276, Venezuela, I hate this, in 279, and Esronet in 284. In 3E 288, he embarked on his most ambitious enterprise, the invasion of the continent kingdom of Akavir. This ultimately proved a failure, for 2 years later, Uriel V was killed in Akavir on the battlefield of Lonith. Nevertheless, Uriel V holds a reputation second only to Tiber as one of the two great warrior emperors of Tamriel. The last four emperors began with Uriel V's infant son, are described in the fourth and final volume of this series. That was a long one. I really do apologize for being so bad at reading. But also, look at this cute baby. Look at how cute she is. Can you guys see the little toe feathers? So cute. Okay, back to reading. Last one for the day. Okay, this is Fall from Glory by, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. The Thieves Guild of Skyrim is something of an enigma. Within the last few decades, their order has gone from one of the largest, most influential criminal organizations in all of Tamriel to a small group of stragglers barely able to wreak havoc in their home city of Riften. Although evidence that could explain this rapid decline has never surfaced, speculation has run rampant. One theory holds that the guild suffered a loss. It's strongly believed that their guild master was slain by one of their own. This guild master, known only as Gallus, maintained strong ties with many of the influential families in Skyrim. When he perished, those bonds perished with him. Without these bonds, the guild could no longer safely operate within Skyrim's hold. The second theory suggests that the guild is experiencing some sort of mystical curse, causing normal activities for its members to become exceedingly difficult. While there's no solid evidence to support this theory, the last 2 decades have seen an unusual rise in failed attempts by the guild to execute highly incurative heists. Reasons for the presence of the supposed curse is being attributed to everything from the aforementioned murder to divine interference. In order to solve this mystery once and for all, I spent the last 2 years infiltrating the Thieves Guild, initially making contact with them in Riften. Proved difficult, as they're quite wary of outsiders. But through repeated efforts, I was able to gain their confidence. It's my hope that once I've gained access to some of the guild leadership, I can learn more about their decline and publish a second volume of my work. Although helping the guild perform their petty crimes brands me as a criminal, I feel that it's a burden worth bearing. The mystery of the Thieves Guild's fall from power needs to be solved once and for all, as a matter of record, and as a footnote to Skyrim's history. We did it. We made it. We're done. Azula, high five. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And again, I'm so sorry that I've forgotten about reading Skyrim novels. I will never forget again, probably. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.